Bear Grylls Adventures, the Arctic Challenge. 4. Snow Ripples. As he helped Bear get ready for the trek, there was one question burning inside Joe. They kicked snow over the fire, and Bear gave Joe an extendable walking stick. Joe adjusted it to his own height, while Bear cut himself a fresh stick from a branch. Bear also passed Joe a 1-liter water bottle to pack with snow while Bear finished working on his stick. "That's great," Bear said when Joe had finished. "Put it in your coat inside pocket, and your body heat will melt the snow into fresh water. We'll head due east and walk until the day warms up and the snow melts in the bottles. Are you ready?" Joe nodded. He tried not to look nervous. As soon as they started walking, the question he had been holding inside came bursting out. "Bear, how will we know where to go? Which way is due east?" "That's a great question. There are clues all around if we know where to look," Bear said. "For a start, we're following the way the wind actually blows. That's called prevailing the wind. But sometimes the wind changes direction," Joe pointed out. "You're right, but prevailing means that mostly come from one direction, just not always here. It mostly blows toward the coast, which is east. That's why this bush is thicker on one side than the other, because it grows better away from the wind. Another sign is the moss growing on the trees." Bear tapped a trunk with his stick. "Do you see how it's only growing on this side? It's the side the sun doesn't reach. In other words, north side. With a bit of plastic, you'll soon be able to work out the general direction." "So that's the thing with trees," Joe said. He was determined to learn. He kept going. Joe was still happy to let Bear set the directions, but he kept an eye out for clues that they were still heading east. A couple of times, his feet caught on tree roots and other things hidden beneath the snow, and he stumbled. Bear showed him how to prod the ground with his stick before each step to check. Soon they came to the end of the trees. Joe stared. Ahead of them was a wide open plain of snow, smooth and white. There was the octagonal bush sticking up and the odd tree, but Joe didn't think even Bear would be able to tell the wind direction from those. It was a lot of space to get lost in. Bear seemed to know what Joe was thinking. He pointed at the mountain at the horizon. "We'll be okay, Joe. This mountain will make an excellent landmarks as long as we head for that big one over there. We'll be going the right way." But supposing these clouds covered the mountain up? Joe asked cautiously. He was so used to getting lost that he can generally see the flaw in any clever plan to stay on the track. "That's another good question." Bear pointed his stick down at the ground. "Look closely, and you see that the surface of the snow is rippled?" Joe peered at the ground. He had never noticed it before, because the ripples were only a few millimeters high, and they were almost the same white as the rest of the snow, but they were there about 10 centimeters apart. They disappeared off the direction, always pointing in the same direction. "That's the prevailing wind again," Bear said. "Those are called sagari, and the wind blows them all the same way. So again, we have something to work out our own direction from." Joe still kept one eye on the ground as he followed Bear across the snow, just in case the struggle all decided to wiggle round and face another way. They remind him about the country lines on maps. But that wasn't much comfort. Joe had never got really on well with maps. The snow on the plain is deeper and thicker than in the woods. Joe followed Bear's example of lifting each foot well out of the snow before he put it down again. It felt weird, and it made his thigh ache, but it was less tiring than dragging his leg through the snow without lifting them. After a while, they approached a scraggly bush that was sticking up from the snow. It didn't look like much to Joe, just some bare stalks and a few withered leaves. But Bear knelt by it and pulled some of the leaves apart. Joe crouched beside him and saw Some small blueberries nestled together. Perfect, these are cranberries, Bear said. In this cold, you need twice the normal amount of calories to keep going. These will top us up and give us a little bit of vitamin C besides. Bear started to pluck some. Joe spotted a cluster of dark spots in the snow by his knee. Some of the berries must have dropped off already. He thought. Joe fumbled to pick them up with his gloved hand. He held them up to his face to study. They didn't look exactly like berries, more sort of leathery. And these and those would be reindeer droppings, Bear said with a smile. Yuck! Joe quickly flung them away. It looked like the reindeer are going the same way we are, said Bear quietly. See the tracks? The prints that trailed through the snow were shaped like two apple pips, side by sides, but much bigger. As Joe spread all his fingers out in one hand, he could just about cover an entire print. They're big. Yep, they spread the pressure as they walk on snow to stop them sinking in, Bear said. Now, the prints disappear over a small rise in the direction Joe and Bear have been heading. We'll go carefully, Bear murmured. I don't want to have to go out of our way to avoid them, but reindeer have excellent vision and are easily spooked. Plus, they can run 10 times faster than a human. So there's not much chance if they decide you're a threat and charge you. Joe and Bear crept forward and peeked over the edge of the rise. There were the reindeers, a herd of about 10 or 12, the size of small horses with reddish-brown fur. Some of them have massive lethal-looking antlers sprouting from their heads. Joe was happy, keeping a distance. He didn't want those heading for him, especially not if they were going to be traveling 10 times faster than he could run. Suddenly, Bear cocked his head and held up his hand. "You see that?" he whispered. "Thanks for watching. Bye."